What's going on, guys? Rob Pizzo back with your North Division Roundup, week number 7. And for the second week in a row with these videos, I have to start with a head coaching change in the division. The Calgary Flames have pretty much underachieved all season long, and Jeff Ward paid the price. The Flames let him go Thursday night and rehired, yes, a very familiar name here, Daryl Sutter as their new head coach. And this is far from an interim move. They hired him and signed him to a 3-year contract this year and 2 more. So they're going to see if a familiar face can turn this thing around, because a lot of people, myself included, had high hopes with the Calgary Flames, and they certainly have not lived up to them. Okay, standings time, and as you can see, a lot has happened in the North Division this week aside from that coaching change. So let's get right to it, because the big story going into this week was the matchup between the Leafs and the Oilers. They were going to meet 3 times. You got the Leafs sitting in top spot in the division against a red-hot Oiler team that had won 11 of 13 games. And to say this was a one-sided affair would be a massive understatement. Game number 1, Jason Spezza goes old school, Jack Campbell posts a shutout, and the Leafs win 4-0 without Austin Matthews. Game 2, Leafs still without Matthews, and this time it's Michael Hutchinson with the shutout. Leafs win again by a 3-0 final. And in Game 3, Frederik Andersen was back between the pipes, and what a sieve. Unlike Campbell and Hutchinson, he actually allowed a goal. The Leafs win easily 6-1. And in case you dropped out of school in the 2nd grade, this is some pretty easy math. The Leafs outscored Edmonton 13-1 in this series, and they somehow managed to keep Connor McDavid off the score sheet for 3 straight games. That's only the 3rd time that's happened in his career. Okay, you may have also noticed that the Winnipeg Jets are sitting 2nd in the division now, and that tends to happen when you don't lose back-to-back games in regulation all season. But they do have to give a lot of that credit to their goaltending. Case in point, their game against the Habs, where they were outshot 41-21 and still somehow won the game 2-1 in overtime. And I really hope Connor Hellebuck didn't have to pay for drinks that night. Okay, a couple things before we move on. Number 1, usually goalies don't pick up their first career regular season shutout after they already have one in the playoffs, but that's exactly what Thatcher Demko did this week for the Canucks. And Dominic Ducharme picked up his first NHL coaching win in a game that saw Carey Price actually look kind of good. Okay, I know the title of this video is North Division Roundup, but I was really intrigued by this piece we had on cbcsports.ca that said that this year the league is starting to feel like 4 separate leagues. And I tend to agree, not only with the style of play, but the way it's reported. So I'm going to break tradition just a little bit here and take a look at the other 3 divisions. All right, let's start in the Central, where the defending champs are right where they should be, battling for first place. But Chicago has been a bit of a surprise. This team could actually make the playoffs. There's 2 reasons for it, in my opinion. Number 1, rookie Kevin Lankinen, who beat out Colin Delia and Malcolm Subban to really just take over that starting job. And he could end the season with a Calder and maybe even a Vezina. And the second reason, yeah, we all know why. Patrick Kane scored his 400th goal this week, sits top 5 in scoring, and has actually gotten some Hart Trophy consideration. All right, the big talk in the East seems to be trade rumors, and at the top of that list, you've got Jack Eichel. All you have to do is Google his name, and you'll see that pretty much every team in the NHL seems to be, quote, in the discussion. Now, the trade deadline is just over a month away, but we can't forget the GMs kind of have their hands tied a bit this year with trading players across the border because of COVID restrictions. And finally in the West, it's all about Vegas, baby. Vegas. Mark Stone is having himself quite a season so far. In a 5-4 win against the Wild this week, he had the primary assist in all 5 goals. All right, let's look ahead to the weekend in the North. 3 games on Saturday, including the Battle of Alberta, and the Sens and Flames will face off on Sunday. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next week.